Kidnapped, walking the scene with you in no flicks from the 90s. So keen, the VHS Club, they're the talk of the town. Breaking it down, spreading nostalgia all around. Moving and grooving to the synth-pop sound. Their insight is so fresh, painting pictures profound. From Pulp Fiction to Clueless, they know it all. The genuine love for movies stands tall. Unfolding memories on that VHS screen, talking about classics like you've never seen. Katie with her charm, Matt with that wit. Together they make the VHS Club legit.
Welcome back to the VHS Club. We are live on location today because Rachel's here in real life.
Hello.
We are talking all about Mannequin. So let us know in the comments if you're hanging out with us whether or not you have seen this one, seen it many times, just here because you like to hang out with us, or maybe this is your all-time favorite movie as well. So let us know in the comments whether or not you have seen Mannequin. And as usual, we're playing our favorite game because Val is here. Val, have you seen Mannequin? We assume no. So Rachel, our game for this evening is convincing Val to watch it because she probably has not seen it.
Okay, well, this will be easy.
This is gonna be super easy.
Yeah.
And then everyone who has watched it can obviously participate along with us and let us know your favorite moments and memories and facts and all of it. And full disclosure, we say every single week that we're going to get, at least I will, maybe not Rachel, but I'm going to get all the names wrong. I'm probably going to get the facts wrong. So feel free to fact check me and I will do my best to correct myself as I go. But we're going to kick off. I'm going to give you a task, Rachel. Are you ready?
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. So the task is describe this movie in like a one-liner IMDb style. What is it about?
Okay. An ancient Egyptian woman comes to life in the future as a mannequin, inspires a really weird artist to create windows in department stores, and they fall in love.
Well done. Well done.
There we go.
Well done. Well done. This is a surprisingly good movie. We're just going to preface this. This is a surprisingly good movie given how completely preposterous the storyline is.
I absolutely love everything about this movie. The chemistry among the characters, you can tell that they just all think each other is amazing and fun, and like they're like, this is our job. Like, and I absolutely love it. And it ends with a wedding, which is always a good thing for me. So
yeah,
sorry, spoilers.
Oh no, well, we're way past spoilers. This is the late 80s, so we're rewinding all the way back to 1987. We have Andrew McCarthy, we have Kim Cattrall. Someone correct us on how we say her last name. We don't know. We've got Kim.
No idea.
We've got Kim hanging out, and
Meshach Taylor.
Meshach Taylor is Hollywood.
Yeah, he's amazing. And
what's
the guy? What's his name? The mean guy, Mr. Richards. Oh, James Spader.
Oh, James Spader. So we have Andrew McCarthy and James Spader again in a movie together because this was about a year or so after Pretty in Pink. So they were together and then together again, which is just fantastic. And James Spader also plays the bad guy in this one.
He is so hilarious, and you have no sympathy for him whatsoever.
No.
It's wonderful.
No, but you kind of love to hate him.
You do. Yes. You're like, let him talk more so I can like be mad. It's really great.
Or well, before we jump into all of our absolute favorite moments, I need to know, what is it about this movie? So you would say this is your all-time favorite movie?
It's up there.
It's up there.
It's definitely top 10.
All right. What makes it top 10? What about it? Do you remember the first time you saw it?
So I definitely first saw this movie when I was very little. And then I think it came on TV all the time, and it'd be like, oh my God, Mannequins on. I have to watch it. I definitely have memorized significant portions of the lines. And I love the magic in it. I love the friendship between Hollywood and Jonathan.
Yeah.
I love that the old lady who owns the department store is just sort of kick-ass, and like when someone's trying to take over a store, she like puts them down and like makes sure it doesn't happen. There's so much wonderful musical montages.
Yeah.
Dancing through the mall. There's a Phantom of the Opera moment. Like, it's got it all. And yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong?
It really has it all. And you said something to me when we were watching this together that just like resonated with me, where you're like, I don't really like to watch serious movies anymore. Like, you're in it to have fun. And I just think this movie like literally epitomizes that. You're like, why am I watching other stuff? I should be in it to have fun.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to say I don't watch dramas because there's enough drama. I just want total fantasy, and this has that.
It absolutely does.
And someone mentioned like the well-known movie in the well-known song in this movie, but there's another song with Nothing Can Stop Us Now, which is wonderful. But there's also Do You Dream About Me, which is the musical montage song, and
it has a musical montage. I mean, that in itself is just glorious.
Yeah,
absolutely glorious. All right, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how little sense does this plot make, and how do we love it anyway?
It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, the opening scene, they're in ancient Egypt.
Yeah, it opens with a cartoon, which has become like I feel like we've done a bunch of movies recently that have the cartoon intro, which we should bring back. The cartoon intro.
I know this movie so well that it starts in ancient Egypt. She's the main character, Kim Cattrall, Emmy, has wrapped herself as a mummy to hide from her mother. Mm-hmm. The mother is complaining. The pharaoh has hemorrhoids. I was young enough to not know what that meant.
Couldn't Google
it. No idea. I'm like, that sounds bad. But then, so she's like, please take me somewhere away from here. And she disappears. Then, cartoon opening. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand what was going on because suddenly she's a cat.
Mm-hmm. Which we were trying to figure out. Let us know if you're watching with us live whether or not, like, do you think the cat meant that it was like a tie to Egypt or just for fun?
I do think it was a tie to Egypt. And I think as an adult, I would have realized that. But as a kid, I was like, who's the cat?
It's a little, like, it's a loose tie.
It's a very loose tie. But then she like meets Christopher Columbus in cartoon version. Mm-hmm. She meets Michelangelo in cartoon version, young enough to not get that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, ooh, okay, that was fun. And then we go straight to Jonathan Switcher as a terrible artist and get fired from every job.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading in I read an article on like 22 things you might not know about this movie. And one of the comments was, or one of the facts was that it is loosely based on Pygmalion, which I hadn't really thought about, but actually like seems to make sense, where it's like he's this like, you know, sculptor and his creation comes to life. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Sort of. Apparently like the true story, I don't even know if true story is the right word, but let's go with true story, quote unquote, behind this movie is that the writer of the movie, who is related to the writer of Jaws, which is wonderful in itself.
Wait, he's related to him, but not him.
It's not him. Okay, it's like it's the either younger brother or older brother. It's a brother of the creator of Jaws. But he was walking past a department store, and through like a weird effect or something, it looked like the mannequin had come to life.
Okay.
And so he was like, what if a mannequin comes to life? So I love that something this ridiculous and like completely insane is just like an actual moment in time.
That's amazing.
A true story.
So I'm sure people would disagree, but I think they did an amazing job of setting up Jonathan Switcher as like an artist who has not been able to realize his dream. He's like, they show him in this montage, not musical, but a montage of him having all these different jobs.
He's doing his best.
He's doing his best. He fails at his balloon job. He's like taking too much time to decorate the pizza at the pizza parlor. He makes a topiary when he wasn't supposed to make a topiary. Like they do a wonderful job of setting up like he's just trying and no one gets him. So I guess he needed a mannequin from ancient Egypt. Maybe there was a little bit of a leap there, but
yeah, it takes me back to like a time too. Like we talked not too long ago about the movie Mallrats, and this one, go with me on this journey because very different movies. But Mallrats is so like nostalgic for me because I'm like, oh, all the time we wasted at the mall, like all the like stores that were at the mall, the guy who's constantly yelling about like the kid that's gonna get caught in the escalator, like all the ridiculousness of it. This one I was like, man, I wish that there were still department stores, and there aren't really anymore. They're like, if you had to take Emmy and put her into like a modern day department store, like
it wouldn't be fun.
It wouldn't be fun. Like they're so like frumpy and terrible, and I know that that's kind of part of the plot of this movie is that like the department store like needs to be revived, but this also isn't like the heyday of department stores. So it I don't know, it made me a little bit nostalgic for a time where there was this kind of like glitz and glamour, and there was something fun and playful about like, oh, we're going to be all night in the department store.
Well, the all night in the department store, we'd have to research this, but like, I mean, even Corduroy the Bear was like an all night
in the department store.
I swear that there's a lot of stories that are all night in the department store. Yeah. And Elf, all night in the department store. So, I mean, that's not 80s, but
no, but
I bet there are others, and
I never got to be all night in a department store or a mall. I feel like are there malls still? Can we still go and be all? It would be less exciting, I'm sure.
I mean, it's all about like. You could go to the Museum of Science.
I could.
There you go.
I could. I think I have to like bring one of my kids on like a field trip. I don't think they just let us in to the Museum of Science. Yeah, Paul is giving us our accurate facts as he normally does. So he said that director Michael Gottlieb got the idea for this movie when he was walking by a store window and saw a mannequin move by itself. He realized it was an illusion caused by a combination of lights and shadows, and then began to wonder what would happen if a mannequin actually came to life. He took inspiration from his teenage years working in a Macy's stock room and was particularly inspired by his own experiences with mannequins behind closed doors.
Okay, that sounds questionable.
It's a little questionable. They had to design, or didn't have to, but they did design 6 different mannequins that like actually looked like Kim. And one of them, there may be more, but I found a news article where one of them is like, or at least was a few years back, on display in a store in Philadelphia, which is
really
not the same store where the movie was filmed, but in another store. And I was just like, I think that's so wonderful. Like if it was me and I was Kim, I would want them all in my house or like in like weird like places.
It's like no one else can have them. I need to have them.
One like up in the attic, one at like my parents to freak them out. Like I feel like they would need to be all over the place.
Oh my god. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to try something a little bit different this week.
Okay.
So all of us can go along on this crazy journey because I thought it would be really fun to do what I'm going to call the Tater Tot Awards. All right, so we're going to go through our favorite outfits and quotes and all of the best stuff. There are no wrong answers. There's only deep feelings. So no worries here. And if you're hanging out with us live, feel free to drop your favorite answers or choices into the comments. And if you're listening or watching later, feel free to drop us an email or connect with us and let us know your favorite moments. We love that. All right, best outfit. I made it a little bit easier for us. So for everyone watching at home, these are not all the outfits, but here are some of the many outfits. I don't care at all what Jonathan's wearing. So this
is Emmy only.
This is an Emmy moment.
I
wanted all of these clothes. I'm not even a fashionista, but when she did the montage, well, there are a few moments, but every time she was in anything, like I must be such a sucker for buying clothes from a department store because I wanted all the things. So I was like, I would like all of these outfits, every single outfit.
Her clothes were absolutely beautiful, and I loved how weird the montage was too. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna wear like, I don't know, 5 different ball gowns or something like that. It's like, no, we're gonna be like, there's one where they're gangsters. Oh yeah, that's A. Where and he has like a fake like gun.
Tommy gun, yeah.
and like or they're in the freight elevator.
There's also like there's they're not just outfits, they are like an entire experience and like a, I don't know, personality. So like in H, if you're watching with us and you can see on the screen,
I love H.
he's got like the guitar, she's got like the glam outfit. They are absolutely fabulous. D, where she's wearing the like big red hat, like that one actually looks like it's in a couple of different scenes, but that's like in all of the different posters.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the iconic one. The iconic one for sure.
I think A for me. I love the like, I don't know, I love the like hot pink red like hat with the pearls and the gloves. I don't know. It's so contrary to what I would ever wear, but I would love to wear.
I absolutely love that one. The one that I would actually wear is C, I think. And that is like,
yeah,
I love that outfit. And I just feel like you don't see something like that very often, like a pantsuit dress,
yeah,
combo situation that I would love to see. And then going to E, you can't see it in this picture, but I love this moment because they show these like legs in the background displaying like the nylons, and she like swoops her legs in the same way as the
we got a bunch of different votes coming in. So Val likes B, Nostalgic Pod Blast is also B, Val also likes H. Paul is all in for D. So yeah, lots of different opinions.
Yeah.
There's no wrong.
No, I mean, the montage is just the ultimate like fashion experience. So, and you even end up on the beach in the end.
And I love that. Again, like this could only happen in a department store where there's like not just mannequins and clothing set up, but like buy all of these beach things. Like there's an artistry to it. This was like people's full-time jobs was to do these like elaborate window displays and set up the entire store. So yeah, I think I don't know. The answer is all of the above. Great job, everyone. We did it. All right. Scene that lives rent-free in your mind. I don't have examples for this, so there's absolutely no wrong.
Oh my gosh. I just love so many things about this movie. So one part we didn't get into is there's this evil contingent of Illustra.
Mm-hmm. There's a bad department store.
Yeah, the bad department store that wants to take Jonathan away from the mannequin. And then when they can't, they want to destroy the mannequin in like all these like very like ridiculous ways. And I love the scene where she just keeps saying like Illustra over and again. It's Illustra. And he's like, what is going on?
It's such a wonderful like bad 80s bad company name, like Illustra. It sounds a little evil.
It is. It's totally evil.
Sorry if your business name is Illustra these days. It sounds a little evil.
Well, it's also just the way they present it and the way they say it. And then but then going from there, like the other evil guy is the security guard.
Who's from Police Academy.
So
you can't take him seriously because he just like
So I never saw any of the Police Academy movies. So like this was all new to me.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really
remember,
he's
basically the same character, Rachel. So if you like his character, like he's almost the identical character in Police Academy.
So my favorite thing though is just the way he talks to his dog Rambo, the whole thing. And then Rambo gets like scared in the end and he has to bring him around in a little wagon. And so like just that little wagon getting pulled around by Captain Felix is just my favorite thing.
Yeah. And he like ends up having he's the wonderful kind of middle character where he's not really like good or evil. Like he works for the good department store. And his job is to like be the security guard. And there are definitely shenanigans at play. So he's like the very, I don't know, I feel like in 80s and 90s comedies, there was always kind of this like comedic character who was like, does anyone else not see the nonsense? Like, and he's great at that.
Yeah, so he wasn't exactly.
And then he works for the bad guys at the end.
He does. He does flip sides. And that's the crazy thing is that we actually even end up with an insane car chase.
There's a car chase. There are motorcycle scenes. There's not a plane, but like a hang gliding. There's a hang glider.
There's a hang glider, and it's just like you can fit a lot in an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not even 2 hours. It's an hour and 30 minutes. Paul is saying when Hollywood saw Jonathan kiss Emmy right when she changed back to the mannequin. Yeah, Every scene with Hollywood,
Yeah.
every scene with Mrs. Pierce, Mrs. Price. I'm going to get all the names wrong.
Yeah, no.
The owner of the department
No,
store.
her name apparently was Claire Timpkin in the movie.
Oh, Claire. All right, sorry, Claire.
Yeah.
There you go, Claire. You heard it here first.
Claire.
This is Claire, owner of the department store, Price department store.
We haven't even given Hollywood half what he deserves.
Yeah.
He's probably the best character.
All right, well, let's take a detour and talk Hollywood. Let's talk a little bit about him. What makes him so he works in the store. He was there. He predates Jonathan. So Jonathan finds his way into this role because he saves the life of Claire.
Yes. He saves her from an enormous falling sign and gets somewhat electrocuted.
Yeah.
And
he gives it his all, which he really
does.
does.
He does. He always gives it his all. And so she gives him a crappy job in thanks.
A crappy job.
No, but then he stumbles upon helping with the window.
Yeah, he stumbles upon it. And Hollywood already works there and is a fashionista.
Yeah, he's one of the window.
He's one of the window dressers.
Window dressers.
Yeah,
and it's very tough because I think he really likes Hollywood a lot, and they're friends. And Hollywood goes to bat for him.
Yeah.
At in front of the board, and I had no idea what anything meant when I first saw this movie.
There's a lot of innuendo that kids wouldn't have at all understand, but as adults, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I loved it. Like his whole thing about Albert, and I was like, who's Albert?
Who's Albert?
Who's Albert? I thought Albert might be his imaginary friend because we were kind of dealing with the whole magical thing going on.
That's not that far off, especially at that age.
It seemed possible. And he's just he's a solid friend throughout the whole thing. And that's, I think, what makes the whole, like, his flamboyance work even better, because he clearly is like a great friend.
He's a great friend, and the premise of it is that only Jonathan can see Emmy come to life, right? So every time that the security guard or Hollywood or anyone else comes into the room, Jonathan is just like awkwardly like canoodling or like hugging or kissing or whatever a mannequin, which as an adult is very weird to watch. But as kids, we're like, this is hilarious. Still hilarious, but on a different level as an adult. But so I love that Hollywood is just like, not like, he makes fun of him for it in the way that like a friend would, but at no point is he like, dude, are you okay?
Yeah,
It's just, there's a charm for it. An absolute charm to it. Well,
there totally is.
He is definitely high on my list. All right, quotes. Let's jump into most quotable line.
Okay.
All right. I know you think it's going to be an absolute knockout here.
I think it's a landslide here.
Here are some that I think are really great. So Hollywood, who we've now described, says to Jonathan, "It's obvious to this country girl that you're an #1 creative freak. Imagine pretending to be a stock boy when you're a major artiste. I'm so jealous." It's fantastic.
It was fantastic, and his delivery is amazing.
I know, I can't even come close. Yeah. I can't even come close. I think the second one is my favorite, just to lead the viewer. But so there you go. We have her name, Mrs. Claire Prince Timpkin. So she's got a little bit of it. She says, "I don't care if you put a rubber glove on his head and runs naked around the store screaming, 'Hi, I'm a squid.'"
It's such a good line. It works when you're 7. It works when you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
And it really, like, she takes everyone down with that statement. Like, I don't care. Stop talking to me. Like, I'm going to do what I want. I just love it.
Emmy says, "I wish you didn't look so worried." And Jonathan replies, "That's easy for you to say. You're a mannequin. You'll always have work." And then I love Felix, the security guard, after Emmy as a mannequin has flipped him off. He says, "Enough of this surveillance crap. Captain Felix Maxwell takes this from no mannequin." And again, like, it's funny as a kid. It's still so funny as an adult. It's just wonderful across the board. As Paul says, I don't know if there's a best quote. Did you have any that you wrote down before you saw which ones I had?
I'm trying to see which ones you.
I mean, the squid is still my favorite. It's just, I love that it's such a like quote unquote serious moment when she says that, where like there's a moment where we think Jonathan might actually get caught. He might
might
lose
be
his
fired.
job.
Yeah.
The
He's
bad
caught
guys
in a
are
weird-
winning. He's caught in a weird situation, and she just doesn't care because of how well the store is doing.
No, he's caught in a really bad position. He's like asleep naked in a pile of fur coats in the middle of the store. So like it seems, and they're all standing over him like, huh. And so like it seems like it could go extremely badly right there, and then it doesn't. So
yeah,
it really is great.
Yeah.
No, the only other quote that I had was so Mr. Richards comes in, and he's like he'd just gone to the board and like told them they needed to fire Jonathan, and like it's just he was the worst. And then they come out and don't fire him because Claire thinks he's great. And he's like, well, you must lead a charmed life. It was all I could do to save your skin in there. No thanks are necessary. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're the worst.
liar. All right, Paul is all about Hollywood. I know Hollywood's fantastic, and we are making Val nervous with these quotes. Come on, Val. Our goal here is to win you over, so you'll have to let us know. And I love this fact from Paul. It says when casting Hollywood, I'm gonna do a terrible job of pronouncing. So Taylor was the only straight man who auditioned.
Wow,
which I think
so
is
interesting.
incredible. We were talking actually before we officially started hitting the record button here, but I know that like there's a lot of problematic moments in many movies we rewatch and we're like, oh, that didn't hold up.
Yeah.
But there are like a decent amount of movies that I think do a pretty good job of representation, and this I think is one of them. Like I think that like all of the characters are likable. None of them come across as like, I don't know, minor or backup. Like if you caught the fact that was scrolling across while our theme song was playing, this is one of the like few movies, and certainly one of the first, where the lead actress is older in real life than the lead actor, and that is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and I totally agree. And they also sort of do reference that like Hollywood might not be treated well. There's a line where Jonathan is meeting Captain Felix for the first time, and Captain Felix was saying something mean about him. And I remember as a kid, like, I don't know what he's saying, but
it's mean.
But it's mean. And then Jonathan says, well, it could be worse. They could have put me to work with some bigot, and walks away. And Felix is like, do you think he was talking about me? He wasn't talking about me, was he? It's like, yeah. So they still like, they kind of referenced it without making it like a huge deal.
Yeah, but they called it out, which is kind of not like, again, that like this time period definitely could be guilty of all kinds of derogatory statements. And the only ones that were here were ones that were clearly bigoted lines, which I think is kind of fantastic.
Yeah. And then they call him on it. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Val says she's got a mannequin in her house for photography, not for coming to life. she seems to appear out of nowhere. Scares me to death. Her name is Lola. Great name. Lola would have been a great name.
So that is very impressive to me. I am actually, ironically, terrified of mannequins. And so having one in my house,
you would not have asked.
I would never do that ever. So yeah, so you are very brave.
And Paul's got one final quote for our quotable line. Jonathan says, after Emmy turns back into a mannequin, "This is Emmy." And Hollywood says, "Very nice. Maybe I can get a G.I. Joe and we can double sometime."
I love that one.
That was a good one, actually. I should have definitely added that one to the list. Well, good find, Paul. Good find. This next category is a little bit tricky, I think. We'll see. What we all think. But most 80s moments. I feel like this movie has so many of them. There's no wrong. The whole movie is very 80s.
I mean, definitely the scene where she's got sort of the Tina Turner hair and they're like in the musical montage.
I think just even the fact that there is a musical montage is in itself probably the most 80s.
Extremely 80s moment.
Department store. The fact that it's in a department store. I guess not necessarily specifically 80s, but that's pretty 80s.
Yeah.
This did also make me think a little bit about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which is definitely in my top 10.
I love that one. Yeah, I love that
where
movie.
It's like there's the, like, in this case, it's like the evil girlfriend who works for the evil department store. And she's very much kind of like the sister, the boyfriend's sister in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter.
Yeah.
Where she's got, I don't know, very kind of 80s work life vibes. I'm trying to think. Anything else that's very super 80s?
Oh, so Illustra. When they go to Illustra, it's all like faux hologram.
That's a really good point.
And it's like that pink neon lights, and just the way that Roxy dresses is
because
super.
it's the new hip store.
It is. So so she's
It's
got
not
like
dated like the
she's
other
got
one.
like the 80s power suit and like kind of and they're supposed to be like slick. So like there's like some other terrible people who work at Illustra, and they've got shoulder pads that are real big and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Paul says the pipe organ in the store made him think of pizza and pipes. Yeah, the pipe organ in the store is one of the reasons why they chose that one. So that filming location, it got I'm forgetting the name of the actual department store. It ended up becoming a Macy's, but it's in Philadelphia. But yeah, how cool, pipe organs in the middle.
That's something else.
And Doc is reminding me to turn off the lights before I leave. I know, shared space. We're on location today. All right, we're at the last of our questions, and then we can swing back to just talking about all of our favorite moments. But MVP of the movie, favorite character, most valuable character. We could define it however we want.
Everyone is so wonderful.
They're all MVPs.
They are all MVPs. I know it can't be that, right?
It can. Maybe it can.
Okay, so I think it has to be Hollywood is truly like the one. He's the heart. Like it all is like completely utter illogic, and then you add him in, and it's like, yeah,
he is the
of
heart.
Course.
Yeah.
You have your best friend there, so of course you're gonna fall in love with a mannequin, and like it's all gonna turn out great, and you'll get married in the end in a store window.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
After she almost gets like totally destroyed.
Yeah.
There is an epic final scene. So aside from car chases and hang gliding and all night in the department store and evil department store battles, she like gets kidnapped. Her and the other mannequins that don't come to life get kidnapped in a horrible turn of events. And she almost gets like...
Yeah, it sort of inspired the later Toy Story with like fire situation.
It's way creepier in Toy Story though. I did not like that Toy Story moment.
Nobody liked that. I don't know what that was.
In this one, you're just like, no, she'll be okay because it's such a silly movie and you know it's going to end well. Yeah. In Toy Story, I had a moment where I was like, I don't care for this. I need to turn this off.
Yeah, that was crazy though. And who knew that in the back of a department store there was just a giant chopping machine?
Yeah, we learned something new every time.
I didn't know that you could just, an enormous human-sized
How else
grinder.
do you kill the mannequins that come to life? You need to have a place to kill the mannequins that come to life. You need to have a place.
You absolutely do.
I think I'd agree with you. I think definitely Hollywood. Slight second to Claire. She's just so likable as the I don't know. You just hope that everyone is like this. She is unlike the typical character where it's like there's a trope of this so and so inherits their parents' blah 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 store business, etc., and they just do a terrible job and drive it into the ground.
They hire the evil guy and don't pay attention and drive it into the ground.
Yep.
And then but she just sort of takes no prisoners, and eventually she just gets rid of the terrible guy. And
she knows her worth. Claire knows her worth, and she's hanging on to that store, and it's thriving. She's got real mannequins, she's got fake mannequins, she's got a little bit of everything. Paul and Kathy are helping me remember the name of the store. So the organ Jonathan Switcher sits in the dance sequence is an actual organ in the John Wanamaker building in Philadelphia. So Wanamakers is the name of that store, but then it turned into a Macy's. Evil corporations won out.
It was such an incredibly beautiful building. Kind of makes you wonder why we don't make them so nice to go shopping. With that, what is it, a 5 or 6 story center kind of court? I know it's gorgeous,
nostalgic. I feel like we grew up in this time where it felt very mundane in the moment, but there was something about walking into these really beautiful buildings, especially if you were in a city. I know Montreal had a ton of them that were these super beautifully beautifully designed buildings that made it an entire experience.
Yeah, that's one thing that hadn't thought about really until now is how much the beautiful store that the whole thing is set in really adds a lot to it, and these like cool views, and even that my beloved musical montage, like it's partially because of the really cool building.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kathy is saying that her first job was in a department store called Strawbridge's, which was the competitor of Wanamaker. Oh my goodness! Oh my god! Yeah, like sounds like it might be called Illustra. Is that what it was called? Is that what it was called? All right. Well, that was fun. All good answers, Rachel. All good answers, everyone. All right. I have a few more questions. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything while we were talking. Where are we? We talked about which look we liked best. What would your fantasy department store makeover montage include?
Oh my goodness. Well, despite there not being ball gowns.
Yeah, there were no ball gowns.
I could totally try on a ball gown. Yeah. And one thing I actually no wedding gown. You think that they would have done that as sort of like a little.
Maybe the store didn't sell wedding gowns, but then they.
But I mean, it seemed like they sold everything.
True. True.
Yeah, I would have liked to see some more floofy gowns. So maybe that wasn't an 80s thing. Everything was kind of more sleek and.
Yeah, because if you think about the prom dress, even in Pretty in Pink, which was the year before, it's like pretty plain.
It's pretty plain, yeah, and the clothes were fun, but none of them were sort of like. Big. Yeah.
Maybe they would have been big at Illustra.
Oh, yeah, probably. Well,
what would have that scene look like if they were trying on clothes at Illustra?
It would have been all silver lame and shoulder pads.
Yeah. It's definitely lame and shoulder pads. All right. Let me see. What else do we have? We didn't talk at all about the song, Why the Anthem Gives Us Butterflies. Does it give you butterflies?
It does. I love it. And so both those songs, the musical montage song, Do You Dream About Me, and what's the name of the song at the end?
Of course, I don't have it in front of me. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for the wedding at the end, and like it all came together at all the moments where it looked so dire.
It's also in the window. I'm like I don't know. There's something about like a window display. Like, I don't know. There's something about a wedding in a window display that makes it, I think, like even more fun, like in just how ridiculous it is, in how just completely insane. All right. Well, we need to talk a little bit about sequels, but we're not going to talk about the actual sequel because we're just going to pretend that doesn't exist to make our friends angry, because we have a few friends who really love that one. But if you were going to write a sequel to this movie, what would it be about?
I think that maybe one of the smaller characters becomes a mannequin in like the distant future. Ooh. They understand what's happened to Emmy, and they realize like, wow, maybe Roxy. Like, she's had this really horrible time. She realizes she just needs to escape. She's like arguing with her mother, and then she's sent to like the distant future. And like, so it could be like on a spaceship or something. We could have a lot of cool musical montages with like, I don't know, astronaut helmets and stuff.
Think of the costumes.
We could have
so many fantastic costumes.
I know. How about you?
Yeah, minor character. I want to go into Hollywood's story, but yeah, I feel like it would need to definitely have. I now you've sold me. I like the idea of like one of the characters for it to be the reverse. I think I would either want to explore Hollywood's story. Maybe it's like a prequel, so it's kind of the lead up to it. Or it would be really fun to get Emmy's story in Egypt.
Yeah, that would be fun too.
Hijinks in Egypt.
So that the idea of Hollywood story, like there was something sort of magical about him, especially how he seemed like so okay.
Yeah,
with the magical.
I know. Maybe we don't. Maybe the prequel would be too serious.
No. So what I'm wondering is like, he is kind of magical too. Like what don't we know about Hollywood, about what makes him so
maybe he was amazing. The person that like created all of the magic.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like,
Yeah.
in charge of this
Well,
whole thing.
Paul is saying if they had a wedding gown, Hollywood should have worn it, or would have. Hollywood would have worn it.
That's very true.
Absolute
Missed
true.
opportunity there.
Missed opportunity.
Hollywood had the best sunglasses.
Hollywood had the best. That was the most 80s moment.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the most
yes,
80s
we have to
moment.
revise. It was definitely the sunglasses.
It was definitely the sunglasses. I want to talk. I tried to find like a good picture of this to share on social media, and I just couldn't. There were so many photos, but not the exact one I was looking for. I wanted to show the photo of, so there's a motorcycle chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonathan is like super cool and has a motorcycle. And so at one point, as he's escaping, he's got Emmy on the motorcycle, but she's going back and forth between being a human and being a mannequin because it depends on who's looking at her. So like when he's talking to her, she's a real person, and when everyone else is like driving by, it's a mannequin. And I just thought there's something so wonderful about like driving by this guy on a motorcycle who's just got a mannequin like somehow attached to the back
Like
of his
somehow wrapped around
motorcycle.
his waist.
And I couldn't find any great photos of it, but that might be, speaking of favorite scenes, that one's high on my list of just ridiculousness.
I love that too. And I just how the ante got up so much in the end of that movie. Now, so we actually watched this a while ago, and we just like did a little brush up of clips today. And so I'm trying to remember, isn't there a scene where they drive into like a too narrow alley?
Yeah.
And then get like stuck?
Yeah. Yeah. There is like, I would say if it wasn't so fun to watch, it like almost borders on being like too long. It's like a chase scene where you're just like, wow, we're still chasing, but it's so ridiculous that it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, there definitely is that moment. I don't remember I don't remember the exact specifics of it, but there's definitely a chase scene, and it definitely includes an alleyway.
Yeah, that was bananas.
A narrow alleyway. I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed in all of our.
Well, so one thing we didn't talk about is the complete inappropriateness of the character Armand.
All right, talk me through it.
So Armand, it's complicated. So Jonathan has an ex-girlfriend, Roxy.
Yes.
And Roxy is part of the
Great name.
evil contingent who wants to save Illustra by bringing Jonathan's genius to their department store.
Yeah, she didn't care at all about him when they were dating, but
Yes.
she really wants to do well on her job, which I mean, I admire.
Yeah, she's just gonna go deep on this. Like we're gonna.
She's gonna win at her job.
She's gonna win. So, but Armand is just like a creep who works with her.
Yeah,
and he's always saying the most inappropriate, terrible things. And like, this is probably the moment that anyone.
I totally washed him out of my mind.
Yeah, but what's so funny is
now that you're saying it, it's like rushing back, but I totally did not remember.
So this is just wonderful about children, though, is like, I had no idea what was going on. It didn't enter my mind that any of this was a problem. But he like kind of is pushing himself on Roxy, and at some point she just sort of is like, I guess I'll sleep with you, whatever, because I'm sick of you like you complaining about it. And then he has some sort of performance problem in the bedroom, which they show. I mean, yeah. And I had no idea what was going on. He was upset about something. But so there's some of these moments which I don't know, some people might have a problem with. Yeah. But the joy just supersedes all of these issues, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so funny. I have a skill or defect, depending on how you view it, of I just erase those things completely out of my mind. Like I remember entire movies without like a bunch of the scenes, which is actually really bad as a parent because I'm constantly like letting my kids watch things and then we're halfway through and I'm like, oh, I don't remember this was in here. I have to like review very carefully beforehand. But it's funny. So Scarlett is 10 and I feel like I couldn't watch this with her because she's at that point where she will ask all of the questions. So she would have all of like, she needs to be just a little bit older.
Yeah, but it's like, why is that man upset?
Yeah. Why is that man upset? Why is he being so pushy with her?
Yeah.
Like, why she's told him that she didn't want him to be there. She's she would not be great with that.
No.
We didn't talk about, and Paul's reminding me about the wonderfulness of Felix getting a security boss that's a mannequin.
I forget that part. When was that?
I'm trying to remember. Paul, you may have to give us more information about it.
No, is that his idea for the sequel?
Oh, that might be your
I think
idea
that's
for the
I think
sequel.
that's his idea for the sequel.
Paul, let
Because
us
I don't
know.
remember that part.
As we said, it wasn't crazy long ago. I think we were like, what, a month or two ago?
Yeah,
A couple months ago.
It was just a little while ago.
This one is upsettingly difficult to find. So,
So that's an interesting thing about. So I love this movie. I was looking for it for years, and it was just completely not available digitally. And actually, my sister-in-law got it on a DVD, so we could watch it a couple years ago. So that was really fun. But now, bizarrely, it's available on Fandango only. Why, we don't know.
yeah, you have to be all in on Fandango or find a VHS or a DVD copy of it to be able to pop in, which I think is really upsetting. We had the same problem with Pump Up the Volume, which is like one of Nat and I's like all-time favorites. Great movie, holds up, like is still fantastic now, and is next to impossible to find anywhere.
Yeah,
we ended up finding the whole thing on YouTube. That's just there, and there was no other way to to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I wish this had been available on YouTube. That wasn't an option. But
well, you guessed it, Rachel. You're right. It was Paul's sequel idea. Fantastic idea, because Felix is one of those characters that like you can have like backup or like supporting characters in a movie that do well, but this movie and a few others we watched recently actually have had just like a fantastic group of supporting actors where like all of them are as good as the next. Like there's each one of them adds something to the movie, and I can't imagine the movie without any of them. Like,
it really is like an ensemble.
Armand could not be in it.
No, it really is an ensemble cast, and they all worked so well together. I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So about the age difference, going back to my childhood self. So I, as a kid, thought she seemed older, and that she looked kind of like a mom. Now, this was not a problem for me that they got together, but just like remembering seeing her and being like, oh yeah, she's like a mom.
Oh,
and then, and so like, considering that I picked
was
up
she
on
like a badass mom, or was she
just like oh, she looks like
mom?
someone's mom.
Yeah.
Like, no, she's like a mom.
Yeah.
And but considering that I picked up on basically nothing else, like I think that's really
that was the one thing that you were like, wait a second.
I'm like, wait a second,
I did
she's
notice
a
this.
mom.
I did notice this. Yeah, I really love that they did that, and I think like she's just so likable. I like it in many ways. It's too bad that she's not a bigger deal than she is. I mean, I know she's had a great career. It's not to say that she hasn't, but like she is definitely like every bit as good as any of the leading ladies at that time. She's incredibly likable. She had amazing chemistry with Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah,
she's great at all of it.
Well, the thing is, like, you take a character like this, like you're a mannequin come to life from ancient Egypt.
Yeah, that's not easy.
That's not easy. And I think she pulled it off. I really do. Like, you know, she seems amazed and pleased by the modern world, and like I think that's always like what you're hoping is that your time is good.
Yeah, no, I think she did an absolutely fantastic job. And I again, like, it's funny, Andrew McCarthy, like I love Pretty in Pink, and in that movie, like he's okay. Like Ducky is so fantastic in that one that I feel like Andrew McCarthy he's like the main lead, but you're sort of like, yeah, all right, I could take him or leave him. I could take him or leave him. It can be played by a number of different characters, and that would be okay. But in this one, like if I had to choose between his character and Pretty in Pink and this one, it would not even be a competition. Like he's just so likable.
He is. He's so likable, and
he shines in it, really.
Yeah, he really does. And like you really just you're on his side so completely. Like he's like even when things are absurd or he's not being totally normal, you're just like you just really feel for him. And the magic of the whole movie is so fun. And one thing I like about it is they use this little sound, and I feel like this is a very 80s thing, is like right before something magically happens, there's like a little like chime.
Oh, a chime, yeah.
Little magical chime. But what I think is really funny about this is they use it to comedic effect, because sometimes they have it right before Felix comes on. And so he's like wandering around the store at night, and like the chime goes off, and you're like, oh, is it a mannequin moment?
Is it? Yeah.
And then no.
It's just Felix. It's a Felix moment.
It's a Felix moment, but it's sort of, he's not magical, but he pops out at like unfortunate moments or like startling moments. And and I really appreciated that. Like it's like a subtle thing.
He does a great job with just the comedic timing of all of it. He's a phenomenal actor as well, but I really enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
I just think it's like there's something about like kind of the bumbling idiot guard where it's like he's never going to win. He's clearly never going to win. He's clearly never going to like catch the mannequin. He's always going to be kind of the loser, but there's something fun about
and the thing is I don't think he necessarily like even dislikes Jonathan. He just wants to
feel special.
He wants to have an adventure where he like there's a point where he puts shoe polish on his face and then Mr. Richards is like, I'm not putting shoe polish on my face. But he smears it on anyway. And then like when the dog is like traumatized from all the things that they went through he's just like, he doesn't care. He's still Rambo in his little wagon. Like he still loves him and he's going to bring him around even if the dog just doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we're at the point where we need to give our rating. So I already added my rating, which you saw as a sneak peek. But if you are hanging out with us in our live studio audience, you can, if you've seen this one, let us know what you think. How many potatoes, 1 through 5, or 100 if you want to put 100 in, but 1 through 5. Or what else could we rate in? We could rate in little shopping bags. We could rate in Rambo the dog.
We could rate in
stars.
Crazy sunglasses.
Crazy sunglasses. Yeah,
Yes.
Hollywood sunglasses. Lots of different rating options. All right, we tried this last episode and I think it was fun. So we'll try this episode. We have a would you rather?
Okay.
Back and forth. Okay, so Prince & Co. or Bloomingdale's?
Prince & Co. Of course.
That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
All right. Weirdest plot twist: ancient Egyptian reincarnation or hang glider security chase?
Ooh. I think hang glider security chase. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think?
There was something that was just great about that because again, you have her changing back and forth between being real and a mannequin, and I just feel like even that in itself is crazy. Like, no, I think you're right on that one. This one's tough, but not tough. Would you rather be best friends with Hollywood or Emmy?
Oh, Hollywood. I'm sorry,
Hollywood.
Emmy.
Yeah,
you're darling, but you're not Hollywood.
Maybe I want a mannequin version of Hollywood, but he would need to be like you were saying Toy Story. You need to be able to like push a button and have him say all the sound effects, like all of his quotes. That
Absolutely.
would be, All right, we got to get on making some 3D prints. Ultimate 80s couple, Jonathan and Emmy or Lloyd and Diane from Say Anything.
Oh, why would you do that to me?
I know, it's hard. This one's actually really hard because I love Say Anything.
That's really hard. I love Say Anything. Oh, I don't know. What would you choose?
I'm gonna have to go Lloyd and Diane.
Me too.
I'm gonna have to.
I think I even like this movie more though.
I think I like this movie slightly more, but I just love John Cusack.
I agree.
Oh, that one's hard.
Yeah,
that one's hard. And we close on that one. Wait, all right. Well, final question. What would you say to someone watching this movie for the first time? So, have we convinced Val? What is our final moments of convincing Val that she needs to watch this?
Just give yourself over to the fun.
Yeah.
Like just give it. Yeah.
Put Lola the mannequin in another room so that she doesn't freak you out while you're watching this.
Yeah, and start to worry that she might be coming to light.
But this is a decompress with a glass of wine or your favorite movie snack and just feel good.
Yeah.
About there's too much not good. This is a fun escape. Escapism at its best.
And it's like you don't have to worry if like that made sense because it doesn't.
Yeah, there's
so we don't have to worry about that. We just can have total suspension of disbelief and like laugh and
suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief for the win.
Yes.
Hollywood accepts you for who you are. Absolutely.
That is so true, and that is like. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like maybe that is the sort of moral of Mannequin.
That is the moral of Mannequin.
Yeah,
well done, Paul.
And they all accept themselves for like who they are. Like they're all weird.
And they win in the end.
And they win.
They win in the end. They win in the end. Kathy's giving it 3 potatoes because it's set in her hometown, but not quite a 4 potato for her. All right. Paul's got 5 dresses, 5 ball gowns for you.
5 ball gowns. All right.
Maybe they're ball gowns. It's hard to say.
They
We convinced Josh. Josh was already a 5. He just needs to find out how to watch it. We'll have to find a copy for you, Josh, a VHS or DVD copy for you. We're on a run of just like sunshine and bubblegum and happiness movies for me. So I had a really hard time because we rate completely ad hoc. But I went with 4. Because it's not my all-time favorite, but I struggle with even having an all-time favorite. It's somewhere in between 4 and 5. It's probably 4.5, but we've yet to create a half potato, as we've said many times.
There's no half potatoes.
It feels kind of disingenuous or mean to cut like Christian Tater's head in half.
Oh, that's true.
But if you could imagine a half potato that like, maybe it's just like eyes. It's just Christian Slater's eyes.
Yeah, there you go. Or you can sort of like keep his face, but just his shoulder.
Yeah, just his shoulder.
Goes away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could cut him diagonally. All right. I'm going to work on that for next time. I'm going to go 4.5. That will be my official rating. Would you go all the way 5?
I would 100? Go all the way 5. All the way 5. I love Mannequin.
Oh, I'm so glad that you had me remembering this movie and that we got to rewatch it together. It was such a fun watch.
It was really fun.
Now I need to watch it again. It's just what happens every time we do an episode like this. I want to watch the episode again, want to watch the movie again, and then B, it makes me think of all of the other movies that I want to watch. So this one makes me really want to watch Police Academy. Because it's been forever since I've seen those movies, and they are like slapsticky and silly. I'm in my slapstick era where I'm all about inappropriate, ridiculous comedies that probably don't stand up the test of time.
Sometimes you just got to lean in.
Sometimes you just got to lean in. Well, Next week, we are talking about not 1, not 2, but all 3 Mighty Ducks movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we figured we were just going to go all in on Mighty Ducks. We realize that probably most people are going to be team original Mighty Ducks, but the guest that we have on, which I will keep as a surprise, is a fan of Mighty Ducks 2. So it's going to be, it could be an adventure. It could be an argument. Things could get wild. Things could get wild on next episode. But thank you so much. Val is saying that she needs to send me a picture. Maybe don't send me a picture of Lola. I'm a little scared. Kathy is saying, yes, see, I agree with you, Kathy, that Andrew McCarthy does feel stiff to me in Pretty in Pink, but he doesn't in this one. Did you feel like he felt stiff in this movie? I didn't.
I didn't, and so I mean, I don't know, maybe this is sacrilege, but I don't really like Pretty in Pink.
Oh, no, it's okay.
But I don't think he was stiff at all. I think he seemed just goofy, and
he has buggy
fun.
eyes, which I notice and feel way more in Pretty in Pink than I do in this one. But there's like some shots where he's making like a certain face and his eyes.
The thing is, though, like, doesn't that just fit for someone who's like clearly slightly insane and in love with a mannequin?
It's true. Maybe it's just that he fits really well with this. Yeah. Sorry, Andrew McCarthy. We're like, maybe it's just that he's a little bit crazy, and so he does.
It's good to see you too, Valerie.
Airplane, yeah, Paul. I know we need to do Airplane. Val, you've seen the Police Academy movies? Val, I'm looking at you right now. You need to come on and do Police Academy movies with me so that we can have fun and laugh, and it can be one that you've actually seen. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us. Thanks, Rachel, for hanging out with me in person on location here down the street.
Thanks so much for having me, Katie. This was really fun.
Of course. And we will see everyone next time. Make sure when I switch over that you scan that QR code and sign up for our email list, because that's the only way you will find out what the upcoming episodes are and where to find them so that you don't miss a moment. But we really appreciate everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Kidnapped